On today's show, we're heading east to the Rock, where we find our SensCentral citizen.
Our good pal Feller Pine tells us all about what it's like to be a Sens fan in Newfoundland. He gives us a couple spicy Sens hot takes and tells us how he feels about the team going into this season.
All vibes on today's Locked On Sens.
I'm Jake Sanderson.
I'm Tim Stützle, and you are listening to the Locked On Senators podcast.
You're Locked On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome. You are locked on to the Ottawa Senators, the only daily podcast covering the Sens. On the outskirts of enemy territory, I'm Ross Levitan, alongside Brandon Pillar up in the Blue Mountains. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. That's Game Time. Download it. What time is it? It's game time. You can also follow the show on social media. We're at SensCentral on Twitter, LockedOn.Senators on Instagram. The show is free and available everywhere you get podcasts, including on YouTube. Today is Wednesday, August 28th, and Pilsy, we're one show away from being in the month of Sens hockey.
Yeah, that's very exciting. And today's show, episode 1111, Praise Alfie. You'll love to see that. But yeah, the season's getting closer, Ross, and maybe you want to pull it up here. You put out a poll on Twitter asking Sens fans, when do you get locked into Sens hockey? And it was interesting results.
It was. I mean, we know that Twitter, of course, is a lot of hardcore fans who are on the social media app at the end of August looking at hockey accounts. So there is that to take into consideration here. But through the first portion of it, we're at 41% say they're locked on 24/7, 365. That's the pile I think we could reasonably put ourselves in. And
Yep,
then
that's where I voted.
I did find it very interesting how close it was. People who start dialing in at the start of training camp, which would also be considered preseason. I think there's 3 or 4 practices before the first game on September 22nd, but also 24.8% just wait until the regular season. So I found that to be pretty interesting. And then rookie tournament, I mean, gone are the days where it's Norris, Batherson, Brandstrom, all the top guys there. Now it's like, okay, yeah, it'll be cute to see Yakimchuk play against his peers, and it'll be cool to see some other guys, Pedersen coming over, is Boucher healthy? There's certainly storylines going into it, but I would understand if you're going to choose training camp, you probably could just, watch Locked On Sens and get caught up on what's going on in the rookie tournament.
Yeah, I feel like training camp is that middle ground where people aren't diehard fans, but they still follow the team. Probably people that live in Ottawa, like you want to see, who's playing on what line combos together? How are they setting up the power play? Things like that where you just want to see, or like, guys that are looking to get an opportunity, like how did Crooker do in a preseason game where he got to play top 6 minutes? Things like that, I think, is where the training camp comes, but everyone gets dialed in when the regular season starts. So I know we've been saying a lot, Ross, but I'm kind of done with summer. I've had a nice summer. It's been great. I want Sens hockey back.
I'm so ready for Sens hockey. We're going to start season 6 based on this poll. It seems like the start of training camp. So the 16th of September is when I think we're officially starting season 6. Funny enough, that's the day that the Senators play a matinee, 1:30 p.m. to wrap up the rookie tournament. So maybe we'll wait until the end of the game. We'll give you a late episode that Monday. That way we're recapping a rookie tournament there. Then we can wipe our hands with it. We can say, okay, thank you, you undrafted invitees. We appreciate your service, those 3 games. But it's time to narrow down and get the real NHL talent out on the ice.
And that is also, scheduling note, when Locked On Senators goes back to 5 shows a week. So that's the perfect time to say this is the start of the season, especially for us.
It's been a lot of more, I'll just call it different content, summer content. We got our Ring of Honors we love. We got our Citizens. We're about to get to one. We love that. Our interviews every Monday. We might have a very, 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 very special guest next Monday, but we will also in the next couple of weeks have David St. Louis from Elite Prospects. Our relationship with Elite Prospects has been a little bit of a roller coaster over the last number of years, but one constant through it is David St. Louis. I mean, we all we stand by. They work extremely hard, but David St. Louis in particular, he's been very good to us, and we appreciate him too. So we're excited to pick his brain on where they had the Senators prospect, not only as a pool ranking, but individual players. I want to pick his brain on a few of those. So that's all coming up on Locked On Sens, but we're also on social media posting clips from our year-end reviews from all the players. So that's more, hey, how did Ridley Gregg do this year? Or what's going on with Thomas Chabot? We got quick hitters coming out on our YouTube shorts and our Instagram, Twitter, all that, TikTok even. I don't even know how to use TikTok. I just know how to go to the website and upload it. But
Great job.
those are all of the kind of, what are we calling? We're placing breadcrumbs to actual hockey talk, and we're on our way back to September. So we're planning behind the scenes at Pilsy, all the organizational value rankings, what were expectations for certain players, the team as a whole. Hockey season's around the corner, and behind the scenes, it's already started. So we're just excited because we're at that point now where we've got all these takes ready to go, but we want to get you engaged. So if it's training camp that the majority comes in, let's get rolling then. But for now, Pilsy, any final thoughts before we get to our SensCentral Citizen? We'll take it through the rest of the show.
No, let's send it over to our good pal out east.
It's a great conversation. That's next. You're listening to Locked On Senators, your team every day.
Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Mary J's. Mary J's is a locally owned cannabis dispensary in the Ottawa area. Three best friends wanted to go after their dreams, and with hard work and dedication, they've got 4 stores in the Ottawa area and a store in Cobourg. The Ottawa locations are Riverside, South, Orleans, Greeley, and Russell. Ross and I have been to the Orleans location. Awesome spot there. And they offer the best and newest products in the market. They're adding stuff to the menu every week to keep it fresh. They got everything you need, whether you're a rookie looking to try something new or you're a grizzled vet. You know what you want. You want to be in and out of there quickly. Mary J's has got you. They've got competitive pricing. In fact, they're going to price match any store in Ottawa. That means you're guaranteed to get the best price around when you shop at a Mary J's. And you got to have good customer service, and they've got the friendliest bud tenders around who are always ready to help you out. One of the owners, Dashy, absolute beauty, diehard Sens fan. So go to one of the stores, say what up to Dashy, and pick his brain about the Sens and all the latest, greatest products that Mary J's has to offer. Check it out today, guys. Mary J's Dispensary.
Today's episode is also brought to you by Game Time. Today's title sponsor, Game Time. They're always here for you, whether you're looking for comedy, sports, theater, or more. If you need tickets, you need Game Time. Game Time is the only ticketing shop that we trust at Locked On Podcast Network, and for great reason too. How about the fact that they've now got Game Time Picks, new feature alert that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff and only shows you incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. I always recommend to turn on the all-in pricing. That way you're not surprised by any fees or anything that just comes up. You're like, whoa, I was going to pay $50, now I'm paying $150. What happened? No, not at Game Time. Just make sure you turn on all-in pricing at Game Time. Game Time is the best. You already know I love the seat views, getting that panoramic view. You don't want to sit down and have a pole in front of you. You can't have obstructed seating like that. So know where you're going to sit with seat views. They've also got the lowest price guarantee. If you find the same tickets for the same price, less somewhere else, Game Time is going to credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL. That's LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time. All right, now let's get to this week's SensCentral Citizen. All right, we now welcome on this week's SensCentral Citizen. We are heading out to the Rock, Newfoundland, where we find Feller Pine. It's a conversation that started years ago. I go watch this guy's inspirational videos after the Sens lose, and now he joins us on the pod. What's up, Feller? How are you?
How's it going, buddy? Nice to be on here with you guys.
Oh, it's great to see you. You're repping out east. I see the shirt, the backdrop. How'd you become an Ottawa Senators fan out in Newfoundland?
Oh, buddy. Well, as a kid, man, I wasn't really into hockey. I gotta say, like as a kid growing up, I was, and I hate to admit this, but there was a point where I was actually a Leafs fan.
Okay. All right.
So this was like early, probably like 2003, but I was like too young to even know the difference. I didn't even know what I was watching at that point. But yeah, at a point there, I guess it was about 2004. I bought the copy of NHL. It was Marcus Naslund on the cover. I think it was NHL 05.
Yep.
And so with that, I just like looked through all the lineups and I was like looking at the Sens and I was like, okay, who are these guys? Everybody like 90 overall. And I was like, okay. So I started playing as them all the time and they just ultimately became my favorite team. And with that, I also had an aunt in that lives in Ottawa. And she was always like giving me little pieces of merchandise and stuff, trying to plant seeds in me.
Yep.
So over time, it just grew, man.
Hey, we love to have you back on the good side here. Shout
out Grandma.
Yeah.
No, it was my aunt. But yeah.
His aunt.
Shout out aunt.
But this is we've had a couple people that from video games have been converted to Sens fans, so we'll add you to that list. But how did it go with the rest of the family? I assume the rest of your family was Leafs fans, as that's how you started out. So was there a bit of a weird moment there where you're wearing the Leaf pajamas at night and then you wake up and you got a Sens kit on and they're like, what the heck happened here? Or, describe that for us.
Yeah, so I do remember having a little tiny Leafs jersey when I was a kid, but the only thing was for me, like my family wasn't really into hockey, so it was kind of something that I took up on myself to figure out. And I guess like another thing about Newfoundland too, or at least like my area here, we have like TSN 5 is what we get. Like that's our regional broadcast. So that's all the Sens games, and obviously the TSN crowd do it the best. So they just had me hooked since the beginning.
Yeah, that's I'm glad you're able to watch it out there, because I know sometimes it's not the easiest to get TV out there, especially back in the early days. But when you're playing as the Sens on NHL 05, who were some of the players that you're like, oh man, all I got to do is get it up to this guy and I got a goal? Or who are some of the guys that really hooked you onto the team?
Oh, you guys know that. It gotta be Danny Heatley for me.
Yeah,
100%.
nice.
I just seeing him just in front of the net, man, just clap bomb every time, 50 goals. Like, what can you do? That was what hooked me, and he was my favorite player from a young kid until, obviously, unfortunately, got traded for not much. But yeah, no, it was Heatley, Spezza, Alfredson. I think Vermette was on that team then too.
Oh yeah.
They
had so much depth,
Schaefer,
man. Like Chris Kelly.
Kelly, yeah. It was I don't know, it was just the combination of the whole team. It was just something that I enjoyed playing as them. And Chris Neal, obviously, like you had somebody to fight too, so you were good.
My favorite part about Chris Neal too is every game he would start first shift and he wouldn't come off the ice until he ran someone through the boards just to set the tone.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Are your friends out east? Is it a lot of Bruins fans, Leafs, Habs? Where's the majority of the fandom?
Oh, it's Leafs, Habs for sure. Yeah, I actually don't know. I know a couple people that are Sens fans, but I'm not close with like many people out here. There's not many Sens fans out here. It's a rare breed.
I bet we're gonna find a few just from right here. You're gonna have to have some Sens watch
parties.
party.
Like, I'd love to connect with some from out my way, so that'd be awesome too.
But not only that, but you've actually gotten a chance to see the Sens in Newfoundland. They've done a couple of the preseason trips out there. What was that experience like for you?
That was amazing, man. Like I had already seen a few games prior in 2013, but just like actually getting them come to my home, well, not my hometown, but to St. John's, and just seeing like Lazar when he was a rookie, and Zibanejad and Carlson, and I don't know, I can't remember exactly who was on that team, but Nick Paul, I remember. Just so many memories of that. That was awesome. I got to see all the inter squad games too, and it was a great time.
So before you jumped on here, Ross and I were trying to brainstorm how many Newfies were on the Sens. Colin Greening from St. John's was on the Sens. Was he a big guy that you were rooting for and following along?
He was drafted in 05 too. So right when you started on the team.
Yeah, no, I remember following Colin Greening. He definitely got his opportunities playing on the top line here. Hey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Spezza made him a few bucks for sure on that contract.
Seriously.
I can't remember what was that contract.
I think he was making over $3 million per season.
So that would have happened right after 2012, right? Because that was his biggest season when he had 37 points with the Sens.
So, yeah, I guess even when I went to, was he still on the Sens in 2013?
He was, yeah, because he scored the double overtime goal against Pittsburgh, the only game they won in round 2. He was actually in the trade for Dion Phaneuf, so he was a Senator up until 2016, and Colin Greening was making $2.75 million per season at the peak on his deal. It was a 3-year contract at $2.65 million. So shout out Colin Greening.
Shout out his agent.
Shout out to Colin Greening, local Newfies. There was also another one that was here. I think he was on Belleville for a bit, or no, it would have been Binghamton, I guess. Cody Donahue.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Okay.
You remember him?
Yeah, another
he had a lot of potential. I don't really know what ended up happening with his career, but I was intrigued. I had a lot of faith in him.
He's playing in the KHL.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, still going?
Yeah, still going for sure. No, now he's actually playing for the Cardiff Devils in the Irish League.
Is he doing well?
I don't know. Let's find out. Hey, title of the show today. Title of the show: What is going on with Cody Donahue? Belleville. He actually, funny enough, played one game with the Belleville Sens too.
Really?
That's funny. Yeah, 28 points, 44 games with Cardiff. So those are some of the players that you grew up. You're starting to get involved with the Sens. At that point, I mean, second round Stanley Cup final, swept in the first round, but then 2013 you brought up. How special was that playoff run, and did that kind of reignite your love for the Sens, or were you going through the dog days of the quick rebuild in 2011? Were you right in there for those draft years where they're picking Zibanejad and making the playoffs?
Yeah, I was definitely in there. I was in deep since probably 2007. Like, honestly, I've been following him for that long. And when Zibanejad got drafted, and after watching him at the World Juniors scoring those goals for Sweden, I was like, oh my God, we got a player here now. Like, we're gonna win some games. So that was awesome seeing. And but yeah, no, I've been hooked ever since. Honestly, like I said, since I initially became a fan of the Sens.
And you were telling us you've had the opportunity to see the Sens in Ottawa, and you said you had a story about a Leafs game, or was that in Toronto?
That was in Toronto. But yeah,
all right, well, let's hear it.
That 2013 season you were just talking about, I ended up going up there. I think it was March. I went and seen the Bruins versus Sens, and I went and seen the Lightning. So in two of those games, I think the Bruins beat the Sens in the first one. It was like 2-1 or something. Okay. It was like late March. And so that was okay. And then I got another game a couple days later, and they played Tampa Bay. And I believe they were up 4-0 in like the first period. And I have this memory of Tyler Johnson coming in and scoring 2 goals and just like breaking my heart. I was like, oh no, not again. But
ripping it right out of your chest.
Yeah. But it was also that game where Guillaume Latendresse, is that his name?
Yep.
Guillaume Latendresse. Yeah.
He scored that like goal where he just like spun around and batted it into the net. I don't know if you guys remember that. It was I can't remember which goal it was, but I also remember like Silverberg had a couple points there, and Zibanejad had a point or a goal in that game too. And I was just like this is awesome seeing this up close.
They were wearing the black O jerseys. I got that goal up right here.
Also, I remember Alfie. Yeah, the black O. That's my favorite jersey too. But Alfie also had 2 goals in that game, I think.
There you go.
It was a high-scoring game. Damn.
Yeah, it was. Was it 5-3?
I'll tell you in just a second there. I can find the Latendresse goal.
I had high hopes for Latendresse. Like, when he came over, I thought he was going to be a good third-line guy.
If you listen to that highlight too of Latendresse scoring that goal, they're like, it was Zibanejad, Latendresse, and Silverberg on a line, and they're like, man, this line is clicking right now. And I was like, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
5-3 win for Ottawa over Tampa Bay. March 23rd, 2013.
Yeah. So I would have went to the Boston game before that, which I can't remember who scored the goal for Ottawa, but I don't think it was a star.
Man,
if I remember.
Four goals in the first period, and the first one of the period was 13 minutes in. So you probably didn't even sit down between goals at that point.
Um,
Silverberg,
I
Greiba,
was-
Latondresse, and then Alfie. And like you said, then in the third period, Tyler Johnson twice, Teddy Purcell makes it 4-3.
Another
But
newfie.
don't worry.
Oh,
Don't
yeah,
worry.
Teddy, yeah.
You got an elf empty netter assisted by full circle, Colin Greening.
Let's
Love
go.
it. Yes.
Awesome.
Man, that's a good
Awesome
game
stuff.
for a newfie to go. Teddy Purcell
Yeah.
gets a goal.
I got-
Greening gets an assist. Hell yeah.
Like, I couldn't complain, man. And I was sitting right behind the Tampa bench too, so I was just watching all this. Like, if you actually look at that Latondresse highlight, you can kind of pick me out in the crowd there. I'm just like, just enjoying the moment. It was awesome.
I love it, man. Mark Mathot's second star of the game, by the way.
Oh yeah,
We love to see that too.
Yeah.
So Feller, how you feeling about the team right now? That's exactly my reaction.
I got a lot of faith in them. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I think they can. I think by balancing out the team like they did was, and I mean, it might not look so good on paper as like having Chikrin and DeBrincat and all these guys, but I feel like they probably just need this balance, right? And bringing in Allmark too, and Jensen, and forgetting a few names there, but
Ron, Amadio, Gregor.
Amadio, Gregor, yeah. So bringing in all those guys, like, they're not like high-end names, say, but they're people that are going to work and they're going to show up every game. So that's something that I think we can look forward to with it.
We've been asking all our SensCentral citizens this question, so we'll keep it rolling. And Ross has been keeping a tally of the answers. Who is going to be the X factor player for your Ottawa Senators this season? And what I mean by that is, like, who, if they don't have a season you expect them to have, the whole thing's going to kind of crumble apart. Or if they exceed expectations, we're going to the moon.
I think we need Allmark to really show up for us, It's just so nice to bring in an established goalie that we haven't had in years. Yeah. Every time we've brought in a goalie, it's been somebody that's been on a slight decline, or but Allmark has been consistent his whole career. So if we get him to show up like what he's been, I think we're in for a good season.
How many games do you want Allmark playing? Like, what do you want the split to be between Allmark and Forsberg?
That's a good question. I want him to play in at least 50, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, you know what? I had a little hot take also on this.
Ooh.
If there is bearing an injury, with like Allmark or Forsberg, I think that Levy or Mads can step in. I really do. After watching them in the playoffs this year, I really think like they could at least step in as a backup role for now, or maybe even like steal the backup role.
Ooh. That's a hot take. One of those guys stealing the backup role. But I think with the short sample size, those guys could step in. Now, Mads in the NHL has struggled a bit here, but he's a year older. Like you mentioned, he looked awesome in that playoff run with Belleville. It was one of the best seasons of his career in the AHL. So, and he's kind of, things are set up for him to see the writing on the wall and be like, hey, if things go well, you've got that one-way deal next year. Forsberg's contract expires. Like, you are setting up to be the backup. So I think that's interesting for sure.
Yeah, I really like I said, like you said, now see him in the playoffs last year, and even Levy, like, I think he played in that last game for him.
Yeah, he only got the one game. Yeah,
but he played well in that. And I mean, like, even in that small sample size, I think it was last season we had him. He showed up in that first game, and we were like, holy, like, what do we have here in a prospect, right? So I don't know. I have faith in both of those guys. So we'll see what happens.
I like that. That is a spicy hot take. And Feller, I mean, the goaltending was the Achilles heel of this team last year. So they certainly need good goaltending. What's a player that you expect to take another step forward from the young core of this team? The Timmies, Brady, Batherson, Josh Norris, all those guys, Shane Pinto, Ridley Gray. There's a lot to choose from. Which one of their personal individual growth is going to be the most important for the team?
I think Norris and Pinto, I have a feeling that the two of them, if they can get off to a roll, especially if they set them up properly on the power play, like you guys were talking about, they got to have them in their shooting positions, right? Yep. The two of them are shooters, and if both of them can show up and get like 30 goals each this season, I think we're in for a good season.
So who do you have as the second line center? Is Norris still your second line center, or are you at a point where you're like, we got to shelter Norris a little, and Pinto has earned that elevated role? Where are you at with the second line center choice?
Like it seems like Norris should be there, but like you said now, like should we shelter him, or is he going to end up playing more of a wing position this year? It's hard to say, but I really like Pinto. I've loved his game for the last few years, and I just see him constantly grow, especially stepping in 41 games into the season this year. And he just showed up. So I would love to see him in the second line center position for sure. But I don't know, where does that leave Norris, right? So I guess we'll see.
Well, that's what we're asking you, right? Because these are the decisions that Travis Green's going to have to make behind the bench and for day one of training camp. Are you leaving the line which line actually? Let me just ask you point blank. What's your top line at training camp? If you're Travis Green, who are the first 3 names you're writing down on that chalkboard?
That's a good question. I guess you got to go Tkachuk there. I'd go Tkachuk, Stützle, Batherson, I think, as my top line this year. Starting off the season anyways, and see how that goes. Yeah.
Because, I mean, obviously, Stützle was battling some injuries throughout last season, and Norris was unavailable, but it was actually Batherson and Tkachuk last year a lot with Pinto in the middle. Mm-hmm. So you've got options there, but obviously you're not putting Pinto ahead of Stützle and Norris. Just financially, you're just not going to do that as a day one. Imagine coming into camp to a new team and being like, yeah, the guy we just signed for $2.5 million, he's actually going to play with the best players on the team. Timmy, I know you got $55 million more coming after last season, but sit back a little bit. That leaves Giroux, though, on the second line. You're okay with that?
Yeah, I think so. And I don't think Giroux. I think Giroux is going to stay on like a steady pace here. I don't think he's going to take a big decline or anything this season. But if you got Giroux out there with who would be the second line then?
Either Norris or Pinto in the middle, and then you're looking
could it be Pinto and Norris on that line?
You could. Yeah. You got an open winger spot. I think that's going to be a really intriguing thing to watch during camp because a Swiss Army knife could go there. You could either put a Matteo or Perron. They're both experienced in terms of playing with good players. But I don't mind. You're thinking Norris to the wing because that's a big debate we're going to have leading up to training camp. Absolutely. I'm against it. I think that, look, this guy's only played center his whole life, but he's also a shooter, and you could almost see his game translate well to the wing.
Yeah. No, like you said, and it's going to be interesting to see what Travis Green really wants to do, hey? Because we know, I get this vibe that he's going to be putting a little bit of focus on, like, having a couple defensive forwards or more, people like that on the wings, or not even just on the wings, but on each line at least, to keep balanced. So, it'd be interesting. I can see Perron in the top 6 for sure, just because of, previous endeavors with Travis Green, I guess. We'll see what happens.
And I mean, that second line left winger spot, that was kind of the Achilles heel of the forwards last year. They couldn't find someone to fit that position. Kubalik couldn't do it. Once they dealt Tarasenko, that ruined everything. Crooker got a little time there. Parker Kelly was playing there for a couple games. Like, it was just an absolute mess. So they need to find a way to get that 6th guy in the top 6 because the other 5 are good.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Ridley Gregg, I don't know if he's going to end up playing center or wing this year too, but he could step up too for sure. I can't see him taking it over Norris or Perron, but we'll see what happens.
It's going to be so much fun to watch, and training camp is just 2 weeks away. So how are you following the team in Newfoundland? Like, is it easy just getting the Sportsnet Now package and watching, or how are you following the team day to day during the season?
Through you guys.
Come on.
Nice. All right.
Honestly, like you guys, the Coming In Hot podcast, and just listening to the TSN radio. Like I always have that on in the background if I'm just going around doing stuff in the house. Like you guys mostly, honestly. So, like I said, I've been listening to you guys since what do you guys say you started?
Making sense of the Sens in 2017.
Yep. So I don't know how I even came across you guys the second time with the Locked On, because I didn't realize the switch over. But when I found you guys, I was like, I've been listening to these guys before. Like, let's go. Let's see what's going on.
Haven't heard takes this bad in a while. Here we go.
Yeah.
Settle in, grab the chair, pull up, eh? Pour yourself some. So are we going to need another trip to Ottawa coming up or what? When's the last time you've been or saw the boys?
Well, it would have been in Toronto, actually, in December 27th. I went and seen the Leafs and Sens in Toronto. I went up there by myself. And I just took it on the day in Toronto by myself, the whole city. I stayed at a hotel. I got a cab or a Uber or something out to the Leafs game, or the Sens game, I should say.
Nice.
And I got to switch back. But yeah,
they won that game too. They were down early, right?
I was gonna say it was 2-0 in the first period for the Leafs, and I had these guys sitting next to me, and I'm not even like talking shit about these guys or anything like that. But they were sitting next to me, and they were when the Leafs were scoring, and it was all looking good, right? They were like, "Oh, come on, let's go, Maddie, let's go, Austin, let's go." And I was like, this better not be like a full blown Leafs blowout here. And anyways, like you said, now the Sens ended up coming back. I can't remember who scored the goals in that game for some reason.
Ross has him.
Well, you know what? I know this game well because I was on a plane on my honeymoon, and my wife's like, "Hey, like, you want to put your phone down for a second?" I was like, "Babe,
Sens Leafs, Battle of Ontario.
Sens Leafs. Like, can we have a little respect here for some history?" Sens get the 4-2 win. Brady empty net goal. Drake Batherson with 2 goals.
Yes.
And after the 2-0 deficit in the first period, it was a shorthanded goal from Parker Kelly from Claude Giroux that got things rolling.
So Batherson's actually my favorite player. So seeing him score 2 goals up there, and I was just like, this is just awesome. And like you said, the big comeback in Toronto.
Yep. I
had all these Leafs fans. Like when Ottawa started coming back, I was there by myself. All I seen was blue around me. It was a sea of blue.
What were you wearing?
I actually didn't have a Sens jersey. And the same reason I don't have one on right now.
Were you wearing a Sens merch? Or did people know where you're cheering for?
They knew when I started cheering. I didn't actually have any merch on though, but
yeah, you're good.
I was trying to
sneaky.
Yeah, I was sneaky in there. But yeah, when the Sens started scoring goals, I was just like, let's go, like freaking out and just like taking it in. Everybody just kind of stopped and looked at me, and I was like, somebody got to cheer for him. And actually, that reminds me too. I right after the game, after they won, I went and like used the washroom, and I was standing next to this guy. And he just like looked over at me. He's like, "I seen you cheering for the Sens out there." And I was like, "Yeah, like someone got the win, you know." And look what happened.
Yeah, rather be me.
Yeah.
And there was actually a bunch of people. I didn't see any Sens fans while I was actually watching the game, but after the game, you heard the Sens chants going around. Everyone was like, "Go Sens, go Sens, go!" So it was so nice. It was just great to happen in Toronto. I was like, I'll probably never go and see another game in Toronto.
Yeah,
but the experience in itself and just like that crowd was electric. I mean, mostly for the wrong team, but
next trip's got to be back to Ottawa, though. We need a little home cooking, right?
Yes, absolutely, buddy. Absolutely.
So final question for me, and everyone go follow Feller Pine on Instagram. It's actually an awesome account. You make some great videos over there. Feller Pine, Feller Pine. Is Batherson your favorite player just with the East Coast connection, or what makes him your favorite player?
It is partly the East Coast connection, but he's just so silky, like with the puck, man. The plays that he makes and just the way he plays, I just love it. It's just he has a lot of offense in his game, and just his passing ability over on the, I guess it would be the left side of the ice there. He always finds a way to distribute pucks to everybody, and I just love that. He's not necessarily always going to score the goals, but he can shoot too, and he got a bit of everything in his game.
Oh yeah, Batherson's a dual threat. I got a dual final question here.
Ask away, boys.
You mentioned that you weren't wearing a jersey at the Leafs game. Is that because you don't have a Sens jersey yet, or what's the story there?
Oh, I do have Sens jerseys. Actually, I'm gonna have to show you guys.
Okay, what do you got? Let's go.
Love this. I always love a good show and tell. The audio listeners, we'll let you know what he's showing us here. The Feller, he's got it.
Oh, he starts off with the SNES jersey.
Tell me that's Danny Heatley on the back. Of course it is. Let's go.
So this, guys, I found this at a thrift shop.
Nice. That's a good one.
What a steal. It was like $20. But I got a few more here.
All right, let's see them all.
So I got this one. This one was actually given to me when I
Chris
was up
Phillips?
in Ottawa.
Yep.
And this is a Chris Phillips signed jersey.
Classy,
Nice.
classy.
So that was
Does it
nice.
say
You know, I had to get in on the big defensive D there.
Did it say to my feller?
I got this one as well.
Classy.
Just old nostalgia.
Well, that's
This is
the
like
one
the
you wear
05,
to.
06, hey?
That's one you wear to an event, you know, like a wedding, bar mitzvah,
A
anything
wedding.
like that. That's the all classy.
That's the dress
and
jersey.
Exactly. That's
The last one here is not a Sens jersey, but I got to show it to you guys because
Okay.
it's got the
Oh,
asset.
nice.
Pilsy,
goalie
don't you have
friendly
the same
show?
one?
I have the exact same one, but in black in my closet right here too. So I
And
respect
the last thing,
that.
I got another Chris Phillips signed hat. So other than that, that was
Nice.
both the Chris Phillips signed things were from my aunt. 'Cause like I said, she lives up there, so she was hooking me up. Did it all.
Your
Love that.
aunt, not your grandmother. Your aunt.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that was part one of my questions, and I'm glad we got to that because that was a great
Awesome.
blast from the past.
Love show and tell. Like that to me, it's like when women go like wedding dress shopping and everyone's like,
Yeah.
what's she gonna look like? That's like, what jersey's he gonna pull out?
Yeah, it's the chicks with wedding dresses. They're all just white dresses. To dudes, they're like, well, these are all just the same dresses. If chicks are not Sens fans or watching this, they're like, these are all just Sens jerseys. Why are they so excited about each one? But it's just guys being dudes here, Sens fans being Sens fans. So the final question for me, I notice you don't have a new 2D jersey. If you when you are going to get a new 2D jersey, what color is it going to be? White or black, home away, and what player on it?
I think I'd have to go with the black one. Now I do really appreciate this logo here, and like those old like in the game I went to in 2013, scenes of Benajad and all those guys playing. But I think right now, if I had to get a jersey, I'd probably just have to go with Batherson just because
Black Batherson, nice.
Black Batherson, or like maybe Sanderson. I'd love to see. I'd love to have that one too.
Number 85. That's good. The Sanderson one's a good value because he's got a lot of term left on that deal. So
exactly.
That's nice.
I've warmed up to 85 as well. Right
Me
when
too.
it happened, I was like,
it took a bit.
He's such a single number player, you know, just you saw him wearing 8 with Team USA. I know he's 26 at Nodak, but
I thought he was number 5 at a point, wasn't he?
Or no, it's 6. 6 with or no, he's 8 because remember how hilarious is that? The Sens had 3 and 5 and they took 2 players who both wanted to wear number 8, but Frank Finnegan says, "No way, not in my franchise."
Not my house.
They both had to change.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's hilarious. I'll leave you with this, feller.
I got
playoffs.
I was just gonna say, there's a couple players I think like over the years that never just got opportunity, and I was gonna ask you guys if there's any like rookies that came up for you guys that you thought like could have been given more of an opportunity to succeed as a Sen. Like
I have my answer right off the bat.
Don't even say it. I will. I
want to hear you guys.
Rudolph Balcers did
I thought you were
not
gonna say Eric Brandstrom.
Get the Eric Branson got the opportunities. There's no denying that. Rudolph Balcers did not get the opportunities he deserved anywhere in the NHL. I don't know. Like, maybe it's my bias, and watching him go on a 17-game point streak in Belleville might have really spiked my hype on him. But that was a player I always loved and thought he got the short end of the stick there.
I'll go with Joey Decord.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask you guys. Do you guys remember Shane Prince?
Oh yeah,
yep.
I really thought like he was gonna be something, but every time he got called up, it seemed like he was just like a 4th line player playing 5 or 6 minutes a night, and I was like, this guy got much more to give than that. And all his analytic numbers were always good, and that's just like I don't know. That's one player that's always stuck out to me. I
always find it interesting too, right? Because I'm sure he was top 6 in Binghamton. He was a scorer with the Ottawa 67s. It's like. It's almost like when you have a guy in the bottom 6 or a 4th line role who's injured, you should almost call up a 4th line player from your minor league team because they're so out of place in their role and they're not able to kind of do the offensive creative things when they don't get the ice time. So I like that one. Although he went to the Islanders, I don't know if he had much of a career.
I can't remember how I don't think he did much with the Islanders, but I don't know again if it was like 3rd, 4th line. But you
should watch the KHL, feller. I think you'd enjoy that league. You're bringing up
all my players are over there.
He's playing in Moscow right now.
Vitaly Abramov.
That's another one that I think could have had another opportunity too. So
yeah, he was fun.
Yeah,
man. Damn,
Like,
Shane Prince had 65 points with Binghamton. And then the next year, 3 goals in 42 games with Ottawa.
Oh, damn.
That's tough. That's a great name drop, though. I love ending off with a little name drop of nostalgia. Feller, we're gonna do this again down the road. We could talk to you for hours,
boys.
and we'll let everyone know again. Follow you on Instagram, Feller Pine. It's just awesome videos there. So go check them out. Feller, appreciate you doing this. We'll touch base down the road and go Sens go.
Go Sens go, buddy. I just want to say what you guys do for the Sens community is absolutely amazing. The vibes that you guys send alone and just the good energies, you guys approach it all with like a positive voice, and that is so appreciated, because there's not always that in hockey. There's always a lot of like, anger and resentment or whatever, and it's just you guys do it right. So just keep it up. Keep it going.
Thank you.
All right, stick taps to Feller Pine for joining us. Make sure you're following him on Instagram and social media. Just good vibes, Pills. He's a good vibes guy.
Good vibes, positive energy. What else do you need from a Sens fan? So we love having him on.
Well, we posted on Twitter at SensCentral because Feller Pine thought he was the only Sens fan out there in Newfoundland, but the results are in, and Jeff Tate, Grumps, Jeff Conway, Dylan, our guy fighting Stutzla, Ryan Howell, Jordan, Cody, and Psycho Sens fan is the other guy's name. They're all in Newfoundland, so we got a little team out there on the Rock, and I was actually lucky enough to go to one of those games. I was living in Halifax, and I think it was a similar one that he mentioned where Zibanejad, it was Cody Ceci. They played Carolina at, I think it's called Mile One Stadium, but it's just the East Coast, and I know you haven't been to Newfoundland yet.
No.
It's a different world out there. I love it so much. It's very, very nice place to visit. Kitty Vitty's my favorite for sure.
Yeah, Newfoundland's on my list for sure. I'm hoping to head out there maybe next summer. So that would be awesome, because I had a blast in Halifax. So I'm sure Newfoundland is also pretty fun.
Oh, it's out there. It's out there. Awesome. Great show. Thank you to Feller Pine for joining us. We'll be back on Friday with another Ring of Honor. I'll save the topic, but it is a very good one. Nick Spence will join us for that. He will be the ultimate challenger. Pilsy's got to win. I've got to win. Nobody else does. Not Martian. Nuh-uh. Not Jack. No, sir. But we appreciate everyone for engaging and having some fun here with a little summer Ring of Honor. That's it for us today. We say goodbye. For Brandon Pillar, I'm Ross Levitan. Thank you for watching, listening, engaging with the show. It really does mean a lot to us. Sens hockey's around the corner. This has been another edition of the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day.